Hello, folks. Buenos dias. Bonjour. 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 O genki desu ka? Ni hao ma. Arrivederci. It's Saturday, and it's Saturday is comic book day. You know, ever since they closed the skating rink down, I find myself with a lot of extra time. I used to go practice my skating. I could do the backward skating, and I mean, it's pretty much one of the only places where I could wear my parachute pants, and people wouldn't too obviously laugh at me. I was be going by so fast. But anyway, it's Saturday. It's comic day, folks, and I have a treat for you. Harkening back to, can you imagine this? When the days when comic books were 10 cents. So we have this macabre tales for you folks, and it is called The Other Side of the Mirror, a terrifying tale of Michael Lanzinger. Now listen, I've never seen this comic book before in my life, so I don't know if we venture past this introductory page what it is we might discover. So, my videos are not made for children. I indicate that to YouTube algorithm. So I'm not responsible, and you're not. And journeying past this point, you are under the you're cognizant of the fact that this is terra incognita, right? This is unknown territory. So here we go. Let's go. Oh, it's a horror role-playing game. Macabre Tales, 10 cents. So, Other Side of the Mirror. Michael Land's art direction. Spectrum Games. All right, well, may not be quite what I thought it was, but at least it's a process of discovery, and not quite as bad as I had no idea what could be on the other side of the mirror. Table of contents, introduction, story thus far, things to know before you delve deeper. Oh, I like the way that rolls off the tongue. Had I only had I only had that memorized, I could have made that statement before we proceeded. Things to know. Of course, I didn't know either, so moot point. If one gazes at a reflective surface, be it a pool of liquid or simply a mirror, one will behold himself. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of engineering here. This is called what we call document engineering. It's, podcast industry speak. I don't expect anyone to, know exactly what I'm talking about. So here we go. If one gazes at a reflective, it kind of reminds me of the quote, was it Nietzsche who said, if one gazes into the abyss long enough, one finds the abyss gazing back. So let's see. If one gazes at a reflective, rest in peace to Friedrich Nietzsche. If one gazes at a reflective surface, be it a pool of liquid or simply a mirror, one will behold himself in the immediate surroundings, identical to the last detail, while maybe somewhat distorted. Have you ever wondered if this is not a mere reflection, but in truth another world, another reality alike but different? And now imagine if we are but the reflection instead of the beholders. Interesting. Who is it? Chong So, who said he one time dreamt that he was a butterfly, and upon waking, he was confused as to the fact, was he a man dreaming that he was a butterfly just then, or was he a butterfly now dreaming that he was a man? So let's see, The Other Side of the Mirror is an adventure for a single primary character set in 1923. Though more than one character is possible, the structure of the adventure and also its predominant twists advise the players against it. Although the scenario starts in Arkham at the Miskatonic University, most of the plot takes place outside of the United States, quite unlike most of Lovecraft's tales, in the European city of Rome in Italy. Where else would it be? Oh, I'm sure there's like a Rome, Texas, or anyway. While the location, a little bit of geographic humor, something, podcast humor. While the location of Rome is essential for the adventure, the starting point could be set up virtually anywhere. How about Paris, Texas? In the world, in general, special locations such as the Plateau of Lung, Arila, or in the Mountains of Madness are not advised. Oh, I want to go to the Mountains of Madness. If you're planning to participate in this scenario as a player, stop reading now, or else you won't be able to make your spoiler free return from the other side of the mirror. All right, so now, before
Original. NC. Original. Pro.
here we go. Before the mirror, the general theme of the adventure, much like the tale Shadows over Innsmouth by H.P. Lovecraft, while it's also feature elements of various other stories. The Shadow Out of Time, The Hunter in the Dark, and others, the single primary character will find himself in surrounding known, yet very alien, and even more dangerous to him. That sounds like every morning when I wake up. He will not be able to trust anyone, but will have to find a way back completely on his own. Even people who act rather trustworthy at first will sooner or later come after the character to pursue their own goals. Oh, much like real life. The story thus far. All right, now, folks, just allow me a little artistic license, will you please?
Only a few people know that creatures very alien to our human nature walk among us, often disguised as the nice man or woman from the next door. Some of these intruders are members of the great race who dwelled on Earth long before humankind on the continent, now called Australia. If I were writing this, I would have said Atlantis. Of course, that's why I'm where I'm at still in life. We all know that Atlantis does not exist. They were masters of science and employed time travel to learn all there is to know about the universe from its dark beginnings to the most distant future. To do this, individuals from the great race employ machines to exchange their minds with those of beings from a different time. And so, from time to time, a mind of one from the great race will inhabit a human body, while the human mind finds itself trapped in the body of this alien historian in the past, tasked to record everything about his or her time period. After a while, the alien historian will build a device that allows them to go back into the past, again switching minds with its unwilling human counterpart. The device itself often gets destroyed in the process, leaving the former host unable to repair it, let alone put it to use again. But on very few occasions, the machine withstood its use and remained in the possession of a person who has just lost what could be years of his or her life due to the great race. And on even fewer occasions, the strange device came into the possession of a person who was aware of the machinations of the great race and had the knowledge to make use of it. A person of this kind was a Spanish inquisitor of the Catholic Church, the most evil. Oh, that was my add-in. Please, Vatican assassins, do not come after me, not at least till I finish my coffee. Being a devotee to the history of religion of every kind to better seek and root out unbelievers, Ramirez Aguado also had stumbled upon the various forbidden tomes of the mythos. Now there's an interesting photo. Let's see. We are literary sorts. We're going to continue on reading. There are these beings that defied God's plan by traveling through time. I'll stay with the script. They defied God's plan by traveling through time, like man would travel a simple road and therefore escaping their rightful judgment in heaven after their death. He set forth to gain more and more knowledge about this alleged great race, and therefore also learned of the device that, let me continue on, could enable a person to interact with time and space. The search took him years, but eventually he was able to buy one of the machines from a merchant who had traveled the Far East. Unfortunately, the device had suffered some damage during its last use, and Ramirez Aguado was only able to get it partially working. So while the Inquisitor was never able to travel the streams of time itself, he could gaze through eons, which, oh, now we have an artist rendering, a time machine for that. Look, kids, I wish I could offer it in 3D, but this is what we have. Oh, 3D. And eventually led to his madness and death in an asylum of the church. That's weird how that clicked when I said church, or asylum rather. So the device itself was deemed too dangerous to use for any good Christian, and was therefore secured within the vaults of the Vatican Library, where it still remains, only to be used in extreme crisis by the Pope himself. Now the year is 1923, and the Kingdom of Italy has been under the firm rule of Mussolini since the late 1922. Interesting historical note, Mussolini styled himself a Caesar. Has been under the firm rule of Mussolini. The status of Vatican City is in question, nevertheless. The church retains some of its sovereignty under the fascist, well, my podcast machine didn't like that word, and it didn't like the word either Catholic or asylum. I'm gonna go with Catholic. When the story begins, the primary character is far away from Rome, working as a private investigator and muscle for hire. After he has been kicked out of the Arkham police force due to a bribery incident, and while others like him try to get work as participants in the upcoming Starkweather Moor expedition, the character has decided to make his fortune alone or die trying. Currently, his situation is rather dull and he is in need of money. Just before he can revise his decision not to go to Antarctica, he gains knowledge of a professor of the Miskatonic University who has a job to offer and is willing to pay a small fortune for it. The job also is just perfect for a private eye. Oh, the plot thickens. Go to Rome and Italy and into Vatican City. Once you are there, use any means necessary to secure a device from the Vatican vaults that, according to legend, allows its user to look into other time periods, be it the past or the future, and was even mentioned in the dreaded Necronomicon. In short, a must-have for this eager professor of history. 3 acts, a breakdown of the tale structure. Well, folks, I'm just gonna kind of peruse through here. This is quite. I thought this was going to be a comic book.
I thought this was going to be a comic book, and it turns out it's some kind of like old person role-playing game. I mean, I play a role every day. Why the hell do I? And this gimmick is supposed to be Comic Saturday, not role-playing Saturday.
All right, folks. Thank you for that, allowing me to, have that little breakdown. Anyway, so whatever. Comic book Saturday, role-playing Saturday. This looks like a pretty cool thing, though. If anything, I got to say the word Necronomicon again. You never can say that word quite as much as one should. So it's set up, it's pretty cool, though. I mean, Act 2, narrator note, character not be able to comprehend what is going on, but what has happened is it. It's kind of cool. I wonder how is it like one of those, you make a choice and then this action leads to that action, like back to the vault, the character can simply go back. You can never go back. Once committed, you can never go back. Only with a very hard check on mind ingenuity. Oh, okay, so maybe there is D20s. There's dice involved. I love dice and the various permutations thereof. Countries at each other's throats virtually overnight. The whole world goes to war. Oh, so cool. With the easy check on body, stealth, fire some fabric, 2 street corners down. When is The stars were right. The beings known as the great old ones came back, both from the vastness of space and the risen city of Rhea. A new pope. Interestingly enough, I'll end this facade of whatever the hell. I don't know. I'm just blowing off some steam. I came back from an electric bike ride and I was attacked by some Mongols. Barely, it was a narrow escape. Interestingly, though, I will say this: a new pope. The pope. We have the as a topic theme here. The pope, a new pope, a kind messenger of the gods, Nyarlathotep. So the Pope, yeah, his hat. It's a fish. It's of the cult, Dagon cult. The Pope's hat. That's what it is. It harkens the Vatican, the Catholic religion. I mean, the word Catholic itself means universal, but the actual Vatican and the Pope is there. This is the cult of Dagon, the ancient religion of Dagon, and so all these Christians who drive around with that fish, they think that it's representative of the fisher of men, Jesus, whatever. But no, it's Dagon. It's the cult of Dagon, and the Pope, his hat, and all that stuff. It's a fish god essentially, and hey, it's a weird, wacky world, and that was a pretty cool little venture down. I don't know, role-playing Saturday. What do you guys think? I don't know. I'm sure no one really gives a rat's ass. Namaste.